It's Star Wars news.
Yeah, that was definitely Star Wars.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you know, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a Star Wars theme," and I'll be like, "Oh, I know what that is." And then you were too far into it before I could.
That was
dear me.
Back to the Future.
Do you want to do a bit of dun 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 dun?
I'm Peter from whatculture.com. Joining me today, we've got this guy.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Jules.
And Jules. All three of us are here. And K2SO to talk about what we talked about last week, literally 5 days ago.
We were right and we were wrong.
Yeah, we were right about some things, wrong about some things.
Definitely more in the wrong than the right, I feel.
I think the best thing about it is that teaser came out. We're talking about Battlefront. Hello, welcome to the Battlefront 2.
Hello.
That teaser came out last week, and everyone thought that that's what was going to be shown at Celebration, and it just leaked a little bit early. And then at Celebration, maybe as a reaction to the leak, or maybe not, we've now been given more stuff to talk about, which is cool.
And those extended bits on that trailer have actually fed quite a lot more information into the pipeline, which is great news for us, because there's a great deal of speculation, but across that weekend we have had a lot of confirmations from both EA and also people working on the project as to a few sort of interesting
and a few people that were at Star Wars Celebration that talked to some people. There's one particular thing. Well, I guess we can just pretty much break this down in order.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
And there's any particular main thing?
I mean, we could just start with the single-player confirmations that have gone through, such as the main character we now know is called Iden Verso, and she's the commander of Inferno Squad, which is a specialist tactical unit tasked with covert operations, and the story will be classed as canon. So this is going to be...
Well, it's definitely in, I like the fact that they've said it's going to span 30 years, so it's going to be the 30 years between episode 6 and 7.
Well, it makes it interesting because remember when we watched the trailer, the teaser for the first time, we were saying, is that two different voiceover artists? And it now turns out that it's the same woman, but it's obviously 30 years on down the line.
Which I love.
I'm thinking less now that there might be a good, like,
I don't think there's going to be a rebel twist.
I think it's going to be Imperial all the way.
That's funny you should mention that, because that's my next point. So the choice of tagline for the campaign is quite interesting, because it's been listed as a story of revenge, betrayal, and redemption. Now, those three words obviously indicate that it could be start on the bad side, realize your mistakes, end on the good side.
I mean, now that we're doing this video, obviously we're post Last Jedi, and we've seen the poster, and we've seen all the stuff about like the potential of like grey Luke, grey Jedis, all that kind of thing. It seems like a lot of the direction for Star Wars going forward is to blur those things together. So as much as I don't really want the redemptive arc. I'd rather they just try to do a different side of it.
Yeah, I don't mind, but
it's kind of, I don't know, like there's more,
cliched, I guess.
Yeah, there's more unique territory if you just show that side of it.
But it means that we will get to see the birth of the First Order, because it will be spanning that exact time.
I wonder, like, how much DICE have been let in on the future plans of the franchise, because they're delving into really furtive ground. Like, I mean, depending on how everything goes with like all the talks of like what other stories, solo stories they're going to do, not Han Solo, and like, all those different stories that might be set in between episode 6 and 7. Like, whatever happens here, being that it's canon, kind of can highlight a whole. There could be characters that we might delve into later. We're going to see what happened to Luke, like how he aged, where he went. Like,
and they've also said that on the back of you saying about Luke, that you will be able to, in certain sequences, play as Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Those are both being confirmed
in the campaign.
In the campaign. So it kind of goes back to what we were saying last time about it will be small vignettes, but the main story will be this one woman. It'll be one woman, and then we'll divert off to being like extra bonus level material.
I read that as you'll play as Luke and Kylo in specific story scenes, but they'll still be set in between 6 and 7.
Maybe. I don't. Again, speculation.
Yeah, I can't see them.
Unless they just jump to like Force Awakens for the sake of Kylo. But what would you play it as? Like him? There's no really like, you know.
There's stuff in that 30-year gap where Luke was clearly hadn't yet run off. Kylo was like getting his first blood in and stuff, and hopefully that's what we'll be able to play at.
Because when's the release date for Last Jedi?
December the
23rd.
Okay, so this game drops before then in November, and also there's a book coming out called Inferno Squad, which will tie into the game and provide more backstory on our main character, and also even more bits and bobs.
Standard Star Wars now, bringing out a book whenever they bring out.
It's just everything in it.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, that was one of the things that I noticed in all the speculation, or from all the analysis of The Last Jedi. This is the most picked apart franchise ever now. Like, insane the amount of things that people are picking apart and being like, oh, well, look at that. There's a picture of Rey from like a cereal box and she's got different hair. You know. And I'm like, okay, I'm fully on board with that, but like, okay, can we just wait? I don't know, like wait until some things are a little bit more confirmed.
We're doing an Easter eggs thing for the Last Jedi trailer on the main channel. I'm writing it currently, but it might be out by now. And there's like 4 frames in the trailer where you see an A-wing whiz past.
Oh, right.
There's only like 4 frames of it. It just goes, and it's like people have seen it because they've literally gone through it every frame and gone, right, is there anything here? No, next frame.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like.
I don't know where that came from. That like whole we're treating it like we're like detectives.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm all for it, but I think that there's a certain level of it that I'm like, whoa, this is something else now.
So do you want me to add more fuel to the fire?
Sure.
I do. On the speculation front.
Gasoline me up.
Who's the person in red? In the trailer, she's standing in what appears to be an Imperial bridge of a ship, and there's some dialogue going on, and there is a figure in red that is not one of his
Imperial guards, Royal Guards.
Not one of the Royal Guards, but because it's the person is turning and speaking to the main character. Now, a lot of people have already started the speculation saying that it's an android or a sentinel that's carrying the Emperor's message, which happened in the comic books.
Right.
So basically, and it was to apparently start Operation Cinder. That's all I know. I don't really know the comic books that well, so
no, me neither, man.
I mean, it sounds like a big deal.
Yeah.
So it might be that we have a main bad guy in the form of another robot.
It makes it.
Apologies to all hardcore Star Wars fans.
So they were called Inferno Squad, and then there's a thing called Operation Cinder.
Yeah, so they might be tied. They might be
just
tied
all
right
Dark
into
Souls
that.
puns.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. One of the other things with the story is that it's being written by Walt Williams, which got me super hyped because I absolutely love Spec Ops. Nowhere near enough. No enough people played Spec Ops: The Line, which is like one of his 2K's old shooter. Was marketed as like a generic shooter, but the story was way deeper.
Twists and turns, like it's that kind of thing where you could almost dismiss it without that writing and without that storyline. It is just like, oh, this is a shooter.
That was the whole point of that game, was like to try and get in the punters, get in the Call of Duty crowd, and then make a comment on war and all that kind of thing. I absolutely love Spec Ops. But yeah, so that guy, Walt Williams, and apparently IGN's Mitch Dyer, apparently both of them together are writing.
Oh, I didn't know about the IGN.
And
that's cool.
I think that's how I read it anyway. I might be wrong about Mitch Dyer. I think I'm right, but it's definitely Walt Williams.
So I mean, that is a big boy to get behind the story writing chops. So
that's what makes me think that they'll stick to like, I mean, like they'll stick to like the whole she's quote unquote evil the whole way through. It's interesting. It's interesting to do it, especially considering the whole grey stuff, both sides of the light and the dark. They're not so binary.
Well, with the 501st in the original Battlefront 2, that they touched on it, but it was more like it was that kind of, we knew we were doing bad things, and I felt really guilty like shooting a Jedi in the back, like so maybe it'll be more like this was good, it's for the good of the Emperor and the galaxy. But
do you want to jump into the thick of things, because obviously anyone who played the original 2014 one.
Okay, right.
2015.
Oh, 2015 for the new old. Right.
One of the biggest complaints was the fact that it didn't have the single player, but it did have an extensive multiplayer. But we're seeing that get completely reworked apparently for Battlefront 2.
Classes.
Because classes are now a big thing. Split into 4, we've got Assault, Officer, Specialist, and Heavy, which is very much the same as it was in the old Battlefront games, which is fantastic.
This makes me happy, because we were talking about this before the second trailer came out, saying, oh, do you think they'll have a certain like special units that you couldn't play as in the current Battlefront? For example, droidicas.
Yep.
Now, the current build is everyone is essentially the same soldier, but you can choose a different weapon.
And even that weren't that differentiable.
Yeah. So if you've now got this thing, it could literally be that if you play as Assault for CIS, you're a droidica.
Yes.
CIS.
Now,
Separatists.
Oh.
CIS.
Now they.
CIS scum.
Yes.
What?
Scum. Yeah. And what's interesting you say about droidicas, because people are speculating that droidicas might not be involved.
They might not,
because it might go completely against all of the other play styles that you have with other characters. I mean, that's not to say that they won't do that, because it's all about offering variation. But people have speculated that it will either be magma guards they were the staff-wielding ones from
Grievous's ship.
All this is like
the super heavy battle droids, the ones that turn the things.
Oh yeah.
Droidicas could be a card that you can play, because there's like a card-based power system.
Possibly.
So.
That actually, well, they said they've ditched the season pass, but I wonder if they've kept the card thing, like the card burn thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
It was such a thing for a while, like Titanfall, Halo, and then Star Wars, like all of them just had this whole you just burn cards, microtransactions, blind boxes, all that gritty crap.
But the so the 4 classes, quite interestingly, they're not going to be locked to. They're only going to give you kind of like pathways. You can still customize all of these. So, for example, there people are saying that you could have sub roles like medics and tank destroyers within the specialist class, for example. Right. Or the assault class might be able to use pistols in order to have more equipment on to use in battle as well. So that's quite an interesting sort of feature. So it's going to be more customization, but kind of narrowed into split into funnels almost.
They said they were going to let you do more customization with the heroes as well.
Yeah,
which
really?
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. It'll probably just mean more skins because they've said that if you pre-order now, you get Last Jedi skins for Kylo and Rey.
Their specific wording was level progression.
Right.
So that does imply that you can level up skills. Maybe it's just because I always found it weird that the Jedi and the Sith were limited to just 2 abilities, like, you know, the Emperor's weird sort of tunnel warp thing.
Oh, he doesn't need that M. Bison twist.
The Psycho Crusher.
Stupid,
But so it might be that you start with those 2 and you can unlock different ones. Like, Kylo Ren has been confirmed to have a freeze option, as in like he can just basically.
Oh, like the way he does
the blaster bolt.
It might be the blaster bolt. Yeah, that would be pretty cool as well. Just like freeze everything around him. Ground vehicles being confirmed. We have tanks. Which is cool, because obviously we had the Tauntauns, which were confirmed by the appearance in the
amazing appearance.
But apparently on Twitter they confirmed that tanks will be making a comeback. And the ones that they potentially have listed are the droid curved front ones. I can't remember what they're called, with the big cannon on the top.
They're from like episode 1 or whatever.
I think they're just called AATs or ATTs or something.
Yeah, because don't they evolve into the AT-ATs, or is that?
I know, I think they're just completely separate.
Pokemon style.
Yeah, and they've also got the Theed City Patrol car has been possibly rumoured to come back.
That was good.
There's a lot of prequel stuff.
Maybe this is what they're doing now. They're just kind of like testing the water with these things. Like, okay, this is okay now.
We'll give you a bit of prequel.
Yeah, people have gotten over it now, and then they'll just jump back into like a Clone Wars game or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk details on the multiplayer. Yes. So it's going to be 40-player battles across all eras of Star Wars universe, and it's going to have space battles, which are making a huge comeback, which 24 players in each map. Hero ships will be also playable. Again, they can be customized.
The ships can be customized.
What does
it mean?
That means
you're going to pick the 2 different types of radar for the Falcon.
maybe different cannons or torpedoes or something like that. Maybe different things like that.
I don't want that. Don't know if I want that.
Or maybe support bonuses, because obviously officers coming back, one of their big things was they got morale boosts that buffed people around them. Hero ships could do the same potentially.
Actually, one of the ships that's in there is the Slave One, which I don't think was in the first one.
Yeah, it was.
It was?
Yeah.
High voice? I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay, so new levels that have been, well, I say new, 2 revamped levels and 1 that's a possible confirmation awaiting. So we've got Yavin 4 has been confirmed to be playable. Nice. Camino has been confirmed to be playable. And the other one, which was confirmed at Star Wars Celebration, was Theed City.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
And that was actually further confirmed by an Amazon product information leak. So what it said on the Amazon website was, alongside you can battle through the hallways of Theed, and also by pre-ordering this special edition. I know, pre-ordering. You'll also get to use the A280 CFE blaster, aka the one used by Cassian Andor in Rogue One.
I guarantee no one identified that blaster until just now.
Yeah, I know, right?
One of the things I most enjoyed about the latest Battlefront is simply exploring what are essentially familiar locations in the crispest, sexiest visuals we've ever seen so far in a video game. A Star Wars video game. So I'm happy for them to put whatever they want in there. I don't care if it's Dagobah, the Dune Sea,
chilling with the Sarlacc.
Anywhere. The Sarlacc pit, the inside of the Sarlacc.
That'd be amazing. I mean, what were your favourite levels from Battlefront? Like, across all the games, what would you like to see in there?
Well, see, for me, they've already done it. It's Hoth. Like, the Walker Assault on Hoth was just nothing for me. Beat that with the first time I played the beta.
It's pretty okay.
It's pretty good. The first time you walk through the legs of the AT-AT and it's just the scale of it, it's that for me. I know that it's the most obvious thing and it's the thing that they did first, but nothing topped that for me.
What about yours?
Well, certainly my favourite place in Star Wars is Jabba's Palace. I don't know if you could play it in Battlefront 2, but anyway, I want to go to Jabba's Palace.
Fantastic.
That in my mind, that doesn't feel like there's that much to it. I know they did it in the old one, but you've got in the 2015 one.
There's like the droid torture chamber.
I guess if they open it all up.
The Rancor pit. Yeah, it was all open in
his
current
entertainment room or wherever it is, where they have the sexy Twi'leks.
Even the garage door where Bib Fortuna comes out.
There's a lot of stuff in there. Could be very good. Maybe a little bit out back to have a little cruise around the sail barge. That'd be all right. But one new level, a brand new level that's been confirmed, possibly not for the multiplayer. It's called Vardos.
Okay.
And it is the character's homeworld, the main character's homeworld.
Right. That's like a super strict Empire ruled, Imperial ruled world.
Well, a lot of people, because we thought it could be Coruscant because of the tree and stuff like that, and other people thought it could be Mandalore, for example. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool.
And we know that image is from Vardos.
That according to EA, it's been confirmed on Twitter or on the.
Well, they would be defending against some rebel attack or something.
Yeah. So and apparently the world is in a constant flux of lightning storms above the city, which is kind of like using it as a natural defense against rebel attacks.
Like the Shadow Broker in Mass Effect 2.
And that, believe it or not, ladies and gents, is all the information I have, but we should definitely talk about one more thing, which is, you mentioned earlier on about there being a lack of Season Pass.
Yes.
Now that's going to be a big interest to people because EA, DICE, Season Pass. The three go together hand in hand in money-grubbing hand.
I think, because to be very cut and dry with, like, I mean, it's very obvious what they did with the first Battlefront. You gave a company like EA the biggest franchise in the world, and they just took the most money-grubbing way forward with it, which was just to do the minimum content, the maximum profit. And, you know, and I think this is, a lot of people rebelled against that, Rebels. They clearly went against that by doing, you know, a lot of people boycotted the very idea of paying $60 or 60 quid for a season pass. And you were saying the actual amount of people that followed through and bought the DLC
incredibly low.
Was like 5% of the whole thing. So like a lot of people hated that. But I think EA were just kind of like doing the whole, well, it's cheeky little scamps, we're going to try and milk you guys, it's Star Wars. And a lot of the people who went, well, it's Star Wars, we have to pay for it, did it, but that wasn't the majority. The majority went, F you. And that's why they've gone, okay, now we'll give you what you actually want. Not Galactic Conquest, because that would be crazy.
Well, but to be fair, that seems to be the only thing that they've
That is literally the only thing,
They've been asking for feedback for a long time. If you're like signed up for their email correspondence, they've been sending out surveys and stuff. They've got their forums. They've asked the community, what did we do wrong? What do you want to see in the next one? And although everyone did say Galactic Conquest, everything else seems to be in there. They wanted a single-player story. They wanted some prequel action. They wanted to play as Maul. Like, it's all there.
That was just me spamming the forum to play as Maul. But
I mean, despite the lack of Galactic Conquest, I am so excited for this game.
I'm pretty psyched. I mean,
I don't want to be this excited. That's the thing, because it's always like destined for failure, but it's like, they do seem to have listened, and the content that they seem to be bringing to this game is something quite special, actually, because they could have just fobbed us off with another multiplayer online because they know that it would have sold.
It would have sold enough, But
having the credit of the Spec Ops: The Line writer, having all of this effort going into the single-player campaign, and all of these like ways of customizing and keeping control of your character, that's really important to what Battlefront experience is. And I feel like if they deliver on it, this could be standing.
So yeah, I'm gonna hold on being actually excited, but I'm cautiously
like I'm definitely signing up for the beta. I'm definitely gonna be getting to get them all sorted because the proof is in the space pudding.
Ben Potter is angry that me and Jules and sort of Scott are as excited as we are for this game,
like,
and he's saying
genuinely pissed off.
Like, because he knows what happened last time. Everyone got excited, and he's saying,
I think I'm more.
All we can do is sit and wait, I guess.
I mean, all I'll say is rebellion and good games are built on hope, and there is clearly a light side and a dark side to this, and we'll keep it at that.
I'll happily be Darth Maul in this.
We'll take one chance, and then the next, and then the next.
That's all about it.
So stick with us for all of your Star Wars Battlefront news and other gaming news too, as and when it happens.
Yes.
I have been Peter from WhatCulture.com.
I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com.
And I'm Snoke. I got it right this time. I'm Snoke from WhatCulture.com.
What did you say last time?
Did you say
Snoke? I said
yes.
Okay. Snoke. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You've got the Snoke haircut.
The lack of Snoke haircut.
And the horrible visage.